Welcome to the Sacred Couch, a safe space, a healing place for the souls of Black folks and other folks seeking wellness. Many of the issues that adversely impact our lives as African Americans today did not begin with us. They began with our violent upheaval, deportation, and human trafficking through the Middle Passage, and continued through slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, discrimination, and degradation. The systemic effects of racism and sexism and other forms of injustice continue to shape our thoughts, self-concepts, relationships, and overall well-being. Because our story is unique, we must reclaim our narratives. Our challenges are also unique. Therefore, our pathways to healing must be authentic. We can't use the same systems and tools that were used to oppress us for centuries to liberate us today. Therefore, the Sacred Couch was uniquely created as an antidote to this long-standing challenge to our mental health, psychological wellness, and spiritual formation. The couch was made for us by us. Here we synergistically blend the scientific and the sacred, the psychological and the prophetic, the socio-relational and the spiritual. I am Dr. S. Janine Hyman, psychologist, theologian, and a grateful Black woman. Come on in, take a load off, relax. Welcome to the Sacred Couch. Good evening, and welcome to the couch. You know, I'm always doing something, clicking and carrying on. But welcome to the couch. Thank God for another Tuesday as we move swiftly through the month of July. It's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable that time is moving this quickly. And they say, my how time flies when you're having fun. Okay. I'm not having a whole lot of fun. But the time is flying one way or another. And so grateful to still be here when so many others have gone on, ready or not, but we're still here. And we're so glad to see you tonight on the Sacred Couch. Again, as many of you know, Dr. Stephen E. Gardner and Dr. Thomas L. Brown and Dr. S. Janine Hyman for 6 years, non-gratis too, for 6 years almost, each Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Dealt with the doctors are in, and we dealt with issues that are plaguing our people, and how much of our religion, our belief systems, and the system plays together sometimes to kind of aid in our oppression. And so as those gentlemen go on to pursue, just talked to Dr. Gardner last week, go on to pursue some other things, I am still burdened with this portion of my assignment, and that is to provide means, method, through psychoeducation, through spiritual formation, and through truthful, as much as we can, information to improve our condition as a people. Something I heard in my spirit, and it took me a minute to understand it. I'm like, how can I possibly be this dumb God? But you know, I heard the Spirit say to me, my people are not well. And of course I said, oh, I get that. That's why I'm a psychologist, right? I'm a psychologist, right? And so after a while, I got it. This is not about certain individuals having certain things that qualify diagnostically for treatment. My people, after 400 years of oppression, are not well. Okay, I'm gonna put my jacket somewhere anyway. Well, I'm jacketless tonight. I'll put my jacket somewhere. All right. And so, with that being said, I kept saying, God, how in the world can I do this? I can't stop my international and national assignment to do one-on-one mentoring, one-on-one therapy, one-on-one, and I am retirement age. Praise the Lord. Amen. But that burden, my people are not well. And my desire in these hours coming going forth is that my people would be and become well. And so I'm a little slow sometimes, a little slow. I was like, oh, okay. The sacred couch is a means by which I can answer that call. And so we welcome you tonight to the sacred couch, where we synergistically and skillfully, hopefully, merge, if you will, combine, bring together the scientific and the sacred, the psychological and the prophetic, the socio-relational and the spiritual, synergistically bringing back to us our spirituality that we came here with to improve, help improve the human condition. Y'all know I got to do my disclaimer. This is not a substitute for medical treatment, therapy. Feel free to give yourself the gift of therapy. And it is for educational and sometimes entertainment. Because I tell you, we great. For educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for your therapy, but it is a therapeutic room. It's a safe space and a safe haven where we can discuss and heal and discover, and where we can get angry if that's what we want to do. We can cry, we can laugh, y'all can speak in tongues. I don't care, because as a people, we need both. And as an African people, we never separated things like science and sacredness. They're one and the same. We never separated our humanity from our spirituality. We never did. It is this westernization of our people, yeah, that has to do that. So we're glad you are here on tonight. Spread the word. If you have not subscribed, we actually have a channel. Okay, we actually have a Facebook channel, not my regular channel. My regular channel still bumping and popping. Okay, but we want you, if you have not, even if you're on Facebook, please help us and go to our Facebook page and subscribe to the Sacred Couch. Eventually, all these extra channels are going to kind of go away, and we'll be shooting or broadcasting primarily from the Sacred Couch. But right now, we are building. And so we're glad that you are here. And even as you go to do, some of you are very good at this. And I appreciate you for this. And I appreciate your discipline and your internal locus of control and your investment into yourself. Some of you actually go back and replay and do layers of this. And when you go back, go look at it again from the Sacred Couch, all right, from the channel. But please like, tag, share. I'm telling you, there are people who do what I do. There are therapists everywhere. There are a lot of licensed mental health professionals. There are marriage and family therapists for those of you, who've got little family stuff going on, marriage stuff going on. They actually are therapists, marriage and family therapists. There are licensed professional counselors who, for the most part, are engaged in counseling, although many of them call themselves therapists. But here in Virginia, they're licensed by the State Board of it's counseling. It's a little different than therapy. There are, there's a whole bunch of us. There are licensed clinical social workers. They're looking at how social systems affect behavior and vice versa. But they are clinicians. They are licensed. Then there are clinical psychologist. Okay, I know in our state of Virginia, you have to have a PhD to do that. And so there are many areas where we are found that we can do our work. But what makes the couch a little different is not only do I bring my 30 years of higher education in most of my teaching has been in the area of psychology, both at the graduate and undergraduate levels. Done that for over 30 years in every kind of university you can think of. And currently on the faculty, adjunct faculty for the MDiv program at the Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology at Virginia Union. And I am a scholar practitioner for the Doctor of Ministry program in the area of African American Pentecostalism. And so, this is kind of what I do, but I am also a seminary trained theologian and have 45 years. I can't believe I'm that old. Oh, 45 years in ministry, both here and abroad, spanning 4 continents, where my feet have traveled, and 5 where my voice have traveled has traveled. So I'm gonna blend all of that, and I'm a black woman. I'm not separate from you. I am you. Okay. And so much of what you have encountered, I have encountered. Some of it I'm still working on. I will be working until I work my way out of this body. All right. And then I'll be in dimensions still working. So we want to welcome you to the couch on tonight. All right. So I want to greet everybody. And thank you for being here. Lillian, Mary Duke, Sharon Mack, Carol Weiss Sanders, Mildred Crew, Melinda Williams, Kanique, Vicky, Eartha Thomas, Dee Dee Nicole, Clarissa Carney. Good to see you tonight. Bree Daniel, hey, my pumpkin. All right, I got a twin here. I hope I got 2 in the background. Tracy and Macy. Carol Y. Sanders, I got to call you a whole Y like that. Melinda, all of y'all, good to see y'all. Again, like, tag, and share. Let's blow this up, because if God's desire is for his people after 400 years of oppression, thank you, Bree. After 400 years of oppression, after 400 years of oppression, you don't go through that unscathed. When you're born in it, this is all you know. When you're born in exile, all you know is your exilic self. You don't even know there's another world. We don't know what total justice is. We don't know what total liberation and freedom is. And so this is why, thank you so much, Carol Sanders. I appreciate you. Hey, Saida. Okay. So we appreciate all of you for helping out and helping us get this to our people. If you think they don't need it, no problem. Okay. But if you think we got some issues, and that we not all that well, and y'all know, all y'all church people, it helps us to survive, but it also be doing some other stuff too. So that's why we have not just a psychological couch, we've got a sacred couch. All right. Um, we've been doing this thing on rage and all of that, black rage, and the fact that it is warranted. Okay. And it's okay for us to have it. Okay. And we talked last week about how to dispense it, and that it's not, it ain't always some demon, it ain't always your flesh and all this stuff. So if you didn't get a chance to look at that, I'll go back and look at it. And again, the other thing is going to our Sacred Couch channel on YouTube. Y'all know after 30 days, Facebook takes these down and there's nothing there. Okay. So if you want to go back and get that and you weren't here on last week, you want that one. You want that one. We use the same scripture that they used to bind you up about your anger to free you. All right. And we want healthy anger, and healthy anger is restorative and redemptive. Absolutely restorative and redemptive. But as I'm getting to look at the comments, and I need y'all to keep helping me on this. I started seeing stuff about when we said, hey, look, I don't care what I do. I ain't never good enough. We going there tonight. If you have said that, it don't matter what I do, I'm never good enough. Good evening, Angie. Uh, I'm never good enough. It don't. I don't even want to say nothing because if I say something, they gonna find something wrong with what I said. I can't get my words right. It ain't good enough. It don't make no difference what I do, what I say. It's never good. If you have ever said that, and you have ever felt that, put in the comments. That's me. Okay. I want to see if I'm talking to the right crowd. All right. Talking to the right crowd. All right. I intend to preach to the choir. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Yes, Melinda, whenever we do live streaming, now I guess it's so flooded. They're taking it down, and I don't know how long YouTube is going to be able to do that either. But right now, okay. All right. All right. There's one. That's me. All right. There's two. That's my cousin, y'all. Hey, Zelda. As we say when we be in country. Zelda May. I tell you, my cousin Nina can call that Zelda May. I love you, baby. I continue to pray for you. Yo, you know, it's good. Good to see my cousin. I love you. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Deacon Lillian Cross. All right. All right. That's me. If you have said, okay, oh yeah, y'all coming in good. If you have ever said, it doesn't matter what I do, it ain't good. It ain't good enough, you know. Or if you have said, I don't know why they just treat me like I'm nothing. Okay, any of that, no matter what I say, not good enough. No matter what I do, not good enough. Okay, that's me. All right. Hey, yeah. See. Okay. Okay. Now, y'all that know the words of prayer, as they say, or y'all that actually can pray, do me a favor. We're a community. This is my cousin. This is my first cousin. Had serious health challenges. And his little Henry birthday. All right. Would you join me in praying for Zelda? Because she got work to do. And I need her here. Okay? Recovering. She's not out of the woods. It's a miracle that she's still here. All right? Okay? And if the devil could have, he would have. But he didn't. All right? Would you join me doing that? All right. Thank you. I trust y'all to do that. All y'all from Clam, all y'all that are with me, I want you to put her on our continued prayer list. All right, that's me. Gotcha, Zell. Okay, that's me. Okay, Melinda says, depending on who's surrounding me. But if you ever said it, even to yourself, okay, let's hear yes, okay. Well, I am freckle face. I don't know about stepchild. All right, that's me. All right, good. Okay. All right. Just wanted to see. All right, that's quite a bit. Quite a bit. All right, quite a bit. Okay, because I want to talk about that. I have labeled this the grasshopper syndrome. Okay, so picture this. Picture a woman who has just finished something and it's really well. It's done well. The report is turned in. She done worked on it half the night. Checked it 2 or 3 times. The sermon is well preached. The meal is like off the chisane. It's well cooked and on the table. Everybody around her said, "Oh, this is good. You did good." And then she finds something wrong with it, like going back and looking at it. Okay, going back and looking at it. They should go back and look at it and say, it just needs a little more. I do this when I'm cooking. I mean, people be sucking their fingers. Like, Lord have mercy. I'm like, there's a little too much garlic. And it needs just a little more ginger. And it needs a little more rosemary and thyme, you know. Um, and so we kind of do that. Somewhere underneath the accomplishment, there's already a verdict in her head or his head that it wasn't quite right. Something was missing. And if the people look closer or they tasted a little closer, they will surely see what she see. Okay. So she braces before she ever says anything. Sometimes she'll look at their faces, you know, or sometimes, people be chomping. I'll be like, that all right? Is it good? I'm like, okay, you eating, I bought it, I paid for it, I cooked it, you eating, why am I asking? Okay. Um, Sometimes can't even take a compliment or just flip the compliment off. If any of you are uncomfortable, hey, Bishop Vincent Manyweather, if any, oh, that's good, Melinda. If any of you ever be doing that, it's just talk to me so I can see what we're working with. You have problems with a compliment, or you're just kind of dismiss a compliment. Sometimes people give them to me, I don't even respond. I just be like, and so if you do any of that, talk to me tonight, okay? Don't take a compliment because it doesn't match the file in your head that you keep on record of yourself. Because somewhere, something, someone, some systems, especially if you're African American, has put a file in your head that says not good enough. Okay? All right? How many of you had a little problem taking compliments? Or if you get too many, you be like, wait a minute, something wrong. Talk to me. Okay? Um, that's a good question. I'll circle to it. I hope I don't forget. Jesus be a memory reminder. That's a great question. Is it always rooted in low self-esteem? Sometimes not. Sometimes a person's esteem is okay. Okay. Thank you, Mary. Mary Duke say, I do. Melinda raised her hand. Um, Sometimes a person's esteem is intact, but that perfectionistic rubric is there. You know, I know I'm all right, but when it comes to other people, they're not going to see me all right. And sometimes we begin to internalize those narratives, those descriptives. Think about us as a people. Think about how many negative descriptors there are on black women. Think about the negative tropes there are about black men. Think about the things that they have said for, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of years. Some of it, again, is recorded in our DNA. 3/5 of a human, niggas, coons, baboons. I mean, the B word, hoes. I mean, it is coming from everywhere. It is coming from everywhere. Okay, what about trauma? Okay, now y'all chomping at the bit tonight. Um, and some of it is trauma informed and trauma induced. Okay, but when you look at it overall, not just as individuals, if I polled most Americans, maybe if I go back to London, I know if I go to London and poll black people, uh, but if I poll a lot of people in Western culture, I'm gonna get the same thing. I'm not good enough. Whether they're black, whether they're white, doesn't make a difference. But I want us to also look at if this is something many people feel, period. Okay, because it's coming from everywhere. It's coming from education. It is coming from social media. It is coming from marketing. It is coming, you market things by selling things to people in areas where they're deficient. So if I want to sell you stuff because you're a little plump around the middle, then I start making you feel bad about the middle, and then you go and you buy the product. Welcome to capitalism. We're going to capitalize on your insecurities, on your fears, and on your weaknesses. That's just what we do. It's the culture. Okay, so you can kind of have the self-esteem in place, but it's another narrative in your head that says, doesn't matter what I do, it ain't good enough for them. Okay, some people actually believe um, no matter what they do, they're not even good enough for God, because the religion also perpetuates this. Okay, all right. Uh, okay, it's making me sometimes. I mean, this stuff is recorded in our DNA. We don't even know why we carrying some of this stuff. It's generational. Okay, most of us have called this. Well, maybe I got a little insecurity. Oh well, maybe it's just them. Okay, and then we move on. But tonight we want to give it a name. We're giving it a history. I won't call it a cure, but we'll look at maybe some tools. If we don't finish this week, we'll finish next week. No worries. All right. And the name I'm giving it comes from Hebrews in the wilderness. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. So a whole lot of people have problems with compliments. Even some people will say, "Oh, thank you," and dismiss it, and go find something wrong with themselves. Okay, they say, "Oh, that's a bad girl. This whole thing." Ooh, child, them shoes is back, girl. I've had these shoes 20 years. It's a program there. Okay, remember, these African Hebrews, who have been brought out of oppression in the Bible. They've been brought out of Egypt, okay? And they have come through. This connects to what I did Sunday night on Unscripted. So y'all want the prophetic and the preaching part, check out my Unscripted from Sunday night. What happens kind of in the meantime, in the middle, that middle passage. But, they've come out of bondage, under the bondage and under the oppressive hand of the Egyptians. And now they have departed from their place of oppression, their time of oppression, allegedly assigned by their God because they was tripping. It won't well. And now they're in the wilderness, and they have a promise that God's going to give them their own space, their own land, their own place. But somebody is in it. Okay, it's Canaanitic people who are there, and they are another ethnic ethnic group whose DNA presents a little differently where they live. They're a little larger. They got to do big things. And so most of you who know that story, Moses prophetically has seen this and must lead them now from oppression into the middle passage or into the wilderness to detox, to defrag, to deconstruct the mindset of oppression out of them. Now remember, this is 400 years, so this is all they know. They don't know nothing else. They don't know nothing else. They don't know what normal is. Oppression is normal. Working hard and making other people rich is normal. Okay? Taking the scraps and telling God thank you for them is normal. Adopting other people's gods when you get in their land, according to the scripture, is normal until they figure out something ain't normal. So they're brought out, sent into the wilderness. The land has to be prepared. The people have to be prepared, right? And Moses gets his best people and says, "This is what God says. I can tell you exactly where the land is. We need a strategic plan. I want y'all to go over there and tell us what it is. I want you to do an assessment and come back and tell me what we need to do to possess what is promised to us." All right. And if you know this story at all, it's in Numbers 13. These 12 men go up to survey the land of promise, and then 10 come back with the same report about the people that are already living there from another tribe, another ethnic group. All right, they're still Africans, but we were in our own eyes. Listen to what they said. We saw over there them some big people. Them jokers is heavy. They tall, they built, even their fruit don't look regular. We don't know what they are. We don't know what this is. And so we're not accustomed to that. We're not accustomed to that. And I don't know if we are able to do this or not. I don't know. And so they discuss among themselves. And 10 out of the 12 have the same mentality. That's the group mentality. That's the collective mentality. These represent the creme de la creme of the Hebrews. These are people with skills. These are people who have vocations and occupations. This is, of course, we see this number a lot, in biblical stuff. These 12 each brings something good to the table. They're just not your Joe Blow out the group, right? And so, hey, Ruth, so they come back 10 out of the 12. 10. 10. The number is significant, but this is not a theological show, so I won't do all of that tonight. But 10 of them come back with a report. Now, what do they say? Watch. According to or in comparison to, they weren't told to go and compare. They weren't told and go to say anything about themselves. Go survey it. Tell us what's there so we can develop a strategic plan to go and dispossess what's there and possess what is promised to our ancestors. All right? Now listen very carefully. In we were, this is the collective, everybody, but two. We were in our own eyes just like grasshoppers compared to them. Listen at it. We were in our own eyes as grasshoppers. It's a metaphor. And so we were in their sight. You got to hear it one more time. This is, I never seen so much psychological stuff in a text. We were, each individual, now talking, conferring. We came out the hood together. We were in our own eyes as grasshoppers compared to them. And so we were in their sight. All right? So when we look at the sequence inside that sentence, because the whole syndrome is in the order of it, the shrinking and not enoughness began with comparing who you believed yourself to be on the inside with other people who possess something that God says you're supposed to have. So if the hand of God is on our people and we're supposed to have resources, we're supposed to have community, we're supposed to have more than enough, we're supposed to have wealth to make everything right with us when the system does not. We're supposed to have health. We're supposed to have land. We're supposed to have the fruit of our labor here in this country. We don't. But we really think that the other people are so much bigger, better, and better that they're supposed to have it. And we got to scramble for it or do as they do to get it. They rendered themselves small first because that mentality came out of oppression. In order to oppress a people, in order to run them, in order to control them, in order to do that, you even when a spouse or your live-in or whoever lives with someone who is abusive, they have got to tear down your image inside in order to control you. They have got to breed into you that you are not as much as they are. Okay? It's the same thing. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, oppression is normal if we haven't been exposed to anything else. Okay, my people are still oppressed here in America. We ain't been exposed to nothing else. We still in it. We ain't fully out. We're in the wilderness and don't even know we're there, Angie. We're there to get that out of us. Okay. I said I was going to do. I mentioned this. And this kind of came out, Angie, on Sunday, and I said I need to do something on the pathology of poverty. The pathology of poverty. And my niece Allison said, "What? Do it." So we're gonna do that in August, I think. I may do all of August, all of the pathology that comes from being impoverished and the psychology of oppression. Okay. We are not out yet. And they doing everything politically. They're doing everything to make sure we don't get out. Okay. All right. So let's run with this again. See, nobody measured the Hebrews. All that measuring came out of oppression. All that measuring came out of internalized oppression. Internalized. I now begin to think about my people what my oppressor thinks about my people. I now begin to believe the narrative that is passed down, passed down, passed down, passed down, genetically, passed down educationally, passed down culturally, passed down in our stories and in our legends, in our oral traditions, passed down through the religion, passed down through the pulpit. I begin to believe it because it's coming from everywhere. It's coming from TV. It's coming from icons. It's coming again from marketing. It's coming from education. It's systemic. It's everywhere. But now in the wilderness, nobody measured them. Nobody. They measured themselves against a threat. And then we talked about it. They used the ego defense called projection, right? There are defenses that pretty much all people have to defend or protect the ego against injury, all right? And when you begin to mature, you use those defenses to protect the ego from injury until you can arrive at resolution and tell yourself the truth. Okay? All right. Projection is one of those. Denial is one of them, things like that. All right. But projection, again, is just like a camera. Oh, now you got to be old school or you've seen this. The old school projectors. We used to have them in elementary school back in my day in the 60s and the 70s. All right. Them old school projectors, you put the film inside of it, right? And we'll find out that people who oppress use this a lot to handle the fact that the way they treat other people that don't look like them don't match their religious claims and belief. So they project a lot. They'll call us savage and brute. And we look at their history. They're the most savage, brutish people recorded in history. Recorded in history. So, you put that film inside the projector, right? And then once you turn the projector on, the light now projects the image that's inside of the projector onto the wall. So the film is like, what, this big, right? Then you got a lens here, and you got a lens inside here. It goes in there, and then it projects onto the wall. The same way we do now with a computer. We're putting up on the big screens. The thing is actually in the computer, but the technology allows it to be projected outside of itself onto the thing. And so what they said was a classic form, if I've ever seen it, of projection We are grasshoppers in our own eyes. In other words, we're not big enough to possess what's promised. I don't care what God said. We not big enough. We are not enough as a people to have that. We can't even handle their their agriculture. We don't know nothing about that. We ain't never seen nothing that big. We are so we don't even know what plenty looks like that. We don't know what that kind of stuff coming from Mother Earth looks like that. So we begin with comparison, and we began looking at other things, other women, other people started having bulimia and all of this stuff, anorexia nervosa, because we kept flashing all these small women in their faces, our teenagers. Well, not so many, we didn't used to do it as much, but the more we assimilate, the more we do it. All of these things. The reason why most of us that have extensions down beyond our butt is because we've been having white hair flashed in our faces and slinging it and all of this stuff. Everything that says your hair ugly, your hair nappy, I mean, all of this stuff. You're too black, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too light, your nose too big, your head too big. Now, in our culture, and this is in other cultures too, we make little jokes like that, ain't no big deal. But now that we've assimilated, we can't do that so much, okay? We can't do that so much. And so we got this stuff coming from everywhere. You're not enough. And it is amazing to me how many cultures of more melanated women, whether they are Indians, or quite a large populations of so-called Indians in South Africa. Some of them are actually darker than the South Africans. Some of them are so dark and melanated that the whites of their eyes are actually red. And their hair is pitch black, but they have European feeling hair and features an African skin. And they bleach themselves. I've seen Ghanaian women and Nigerian women bleach themselves. I've seen, we have bleaching cream. If I bleach anymore, y'all may not see them but my eyebrows. But they had bleaching cream back in the day. Everything to not be enough, not to look well enough. We had people putting squeezers on their nose, trying to get smaller noses and everything. Then we saw white women trying to blow their nose up and blow their lips up and blow their hips up. Now we blowing our hips up. I'm like, what in the world? It's like we never are satisfied with the way we have been crafted and we have been made. And so that begins to formulate a narrative and a pathway in the brain that just habitually locks in. It's just like a street you travel all the time. You could do it with your eyes closed. You don't even have to think about it, right? And so this grasshopper syndrome, what it does is it does comparison. And the comparison is based on where you came from. The comparison is based on how we were made to feel for these 400 years in oppression. The comparison comes from the perfect model of what a Proverbs wife is. Get out of here. What the perfect model of a child is, what the perfect place of a child is, what the perfect model of the model man, the model husband is. Tall, even they like them tall, dark, and I mean just crazy stuff that is really so surface, so surface. These differences should be adding to your uniqueness. They should add particularity to your humanness, because our humanness is almost alike. Our experiences are not, but our humanness is almost alike. It is our particularities that give us, our edge. But we are taught almost to hate our edge. And so we see it right here. We see it right here. We see it right here. Thank you, precious. We were in our own eyes compared to them. We learned this in oppression. Now they bigger than where we came from. There's no way in the, I don't care what God said. This is the collective mind of the creme de la creme. I don't care what you say God said. I don't care what kind of prophet you are. I don't care that you bought us out. We ain't going in there. It's the grasshopper syndrome. It starts with comparison. It starts with the internal narrative inside. It starts with a rubric that ain't even realistic. It starts with, we should be perfect. Then we say, I ain't perfect, but your thing in here says that people expect perfection out of you. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that their internal verdict of not enoughness, they projected it onto them. Do you think now? Now we know people writing a story to tell a story. But do you think they really went over in them people's territory? Say, yo, we here to take over. Y'all think we can do it? No. So how did they come up with we were in their sight as grasshoppers? Do you really think they went in there negotiating? If they all that scared, I don't think they went in there. They went to spy. Okay, now maybe they, moved around or whatever. The text is silent there. But I doubt very seriously that they got that information from them. So this is the grasshopper syndrome. The verdict of your not enoughness, you project it onto the world. You project it onto the church. You project it onto your family. And then you receive it back as though somebody actually said that to you. It's amazing how we make assumptions of people's perception and motivations of us. We actually think through projection that people feel about us the same way we secretly feel about ourselves. So we'll project that onto them, and they may not have said anything. They may not have said anything at all. Okay? They may not even think that. Oh Lord, wait a minute, Andrew. Hold on, Andrew. Wait a minute, hold. Y'all know I'll be getting the comments late. Wait a minute. We put bleach in the bath water? Uh, I ain't going there with my next question, but like, how your stuff already? Woo! Wow! 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 Y'all are helping me tonight. Okay. Uh. Okay. All right. All right. So, where this originates? Boy, this time goes so fast. Where this not good enough originates. The individual root, again, is early and is often pre-verbal before we actually learn words. The child learns whether their being is met with delight or correction. You just hollering, wah, wah. You just crying, and your mama, shut up all that noise. Okay, I'm hungry, but I don't have no words. Okay, it's some extra stuff in my pamper, and it's burning my butt. We don't have all of those words. Or sometimes even as we are becoming toddlers and getting in everything, we're supposed to do that. That's that psychomotor stage of development by Jean Piaget. All right, not Jean Paget, but Jean Piaget. It says, when we get, that's why we call them terrible twos, because now the brain is developing and they're into this, hands and sockets, all kinds of stuff. And so even then, as we are trying to train them not to not to investigate, so their hair don't be like this when they stick their finger in the toaster. uh, but the child now is, if he's met with delight or overcorrection or not a balance of that, then when the interaction is mostly conditional, you know The developing nervous system, because remember now, child still growing, still developing, all right, reaches a conclusion that the child is far too young to dispute. They don't have the words yet, but they are sensing my being is not right. My being is not sufficient. They ain't even got no words. It's just a gut feeling, right? They can't refute it because they don't have the cognitive ability to do that kind of reasoning. They just know how that body feels, how that correction feels if it is not balanced. Okay, so the developing nervous system in that child reaches a conclusion that they're too young to dispute. This is not a thought that the child chooses. It is a structure the body builds. It's recording in the body. The body builds that structure over time under the chronic emotional threat. It becomes the very lens through which everything afterwards is seen, interpreted, read, and all of that. So the personal formation sits inside a collective one. And here, the grasshopper, I mean, they look ugly little things too. The grasshopper takes on its racial architecture or its racial and gender architecture. All right. So for 4 centuries now, these white supremacists order, the white supremacist order, systemic order, it's in everything now, as we said, press a single message through every institution that it controlled. And that would be every institution. You are insufficient. You ain't enough. You cursed. You lazy. You're violent. You're hypersexual. You a victim. Something wrong with y'all. Y'all got demonic spirituality. Your stuff, your God is a demon. You need us. You ain't nothing without us. And we start singing like Karen Clark. I'm nothing without you. We singing it to our oppressors. I'm nothing without you. I realize, okay, we've been, and some of us really, that's in the head. That's why we think we need the system. That's why we think we need their approval. That's why we think we need affirmation. That's why we think we need acceptance. It's been bred, okay? And it does. How many of y'all heard this? How many of y'all heard this one? And I want y'all to get this book. We're doing an anthology with Elder Charvette Mitchell. This is her 10th publication, and she gets various authors. I'm contributing a chapter on the perfection lie. Y'all wait for that to come out. You're going to need it. All right? But how many of y'all have kind of even done this with yourself? Dumbed yourself down so to keep the peace. Dumbed yourself down. Women do it a lot. Our bright young boys do it. They have to do it with each other. Because we're going to crucify you for being better than average. Because we think you better than us. I mean, the stuff just goes on and on and on and on and on, right? And some of us maybe have even a cat full of bleach. I can't get over the I'll believe that right there. Okay. Oh my God, gee, look at him. Bleaching that, what the world? Lord have mercy. Who, Jesus? I tell you, our self-hatred is all, we're not well. We're not well. Um, let's see what Akima says. They use those descriptors of us to justify their hate and abuse against us. Absolutely. You have to do that in order to oppress people. And the stuff that they say about us, Akima, my kitty, much of it is a projection. The things they say about us are actually many times documented. As Joy DeGruy says, we have a preponderance of evidence that actually looks more like you than us. But then we internalize that. Okay? And so, in Joy DeGrew's work, I know that's going to ask you, how many of you heard this? Your mom said this, or your grandmama, somebody said it, a teacher. If you black, you have to be twice as good to be considered equal. If you heard that or something similar to that, you got to do twice as much to be considered equal. I heard it as a young teenager. If you heard that, I want you to put that in the chat. I heard it. They told me that. I heard to be considered equal. That's our reality. Okay. So I want y'all to talk to me if that. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah. Even to keep the peace. Okay. All right. All right. Did it for decades. S. Okay. All right. I have within the BC. Okay. Yeah. Hand raised. Yeah. Okay. Great. Uh huh. See. Mm-hmm. Got to be twice as good. You got to perform top notch to even get looked at. See? Okay. All right. Okay. Hey, cousin Renee. Bless you, Elder. All right. Heard it. This stuff is getting programmed in our heads. It's not bad. Okay. And we got people from everywhere. Y'all are from everywhere, all facets. And we've been told the same thing because our parents knew that system and they knew them people. But while that is part of our survival and thriving reality, it can also send another message that I've always got to do double. I always got to do double. Okay, yeah, got to be twice as good. Got to work twice as hard. See, look at how much it is. Come on, some more y'all talk to us. Talk to us. Why the bros ain't talking? Why the bros? Why the bros? Come on, need bros talking. All right. Joy DeGruy talks about this. Really, if you don't have post-traumatic slave syndrome, you should get that book. But she traces how this transmits across generations. It's not an inherited memory, but more as inherited adaptation. I adapt to it. These patterns of self-devaluation passed down because they once kept us alive. Okay? These are survival techniques now that over the centuries we never balanced, or sometimes we weren't told why and how, or how to maneuver. Okay, when you out there, do this. When you home, do this. It's no different than Hispanics being bilingual. When you out, do this. When you here, do what you do in your culture. We used to do that. We won't do that no more. Okay? That's healthy. Frantz Fanon named Fanon, Fanon, Frantz Fanon named the interior half of the same wound decades earlier, describing how the colonized people come to see themselves through the eyes of the colonizers. Okay? And they hold that borrowed contempt. I saw somebody talking about self-hate in the chat. They hold to that borrowed contempt as their own self-assessment. In other words, it's internalized. That's precisely the grasshopper's error. Seeing yourself through the giant's eyes. When you really ain't even had real good conversation with a giant. It's a projection. You see yourself through the eyes of your oppressor. You see yourself through the eyes of a religion. Lord have mercy. You see yourself through the eyes of a belief system. You see yourself through the eyes of your family's colorism, if you have that. Many of us did. You see yourself through the eyes of a broken family and compare it to doggone Joan Cleaver and leave it to Beaver. Okay? You see yourself through the eyes of that and then call it your own self-report. Okay? This story is concentrated theologically as well. And we want to look at this a little bit. The Christianity handed to enslaved people was engineered for control. And at its center sat a doctrine of inherent unworthiness. Listen to this. Amazing grace. Also, turning your lips down. How sweet the sound. Yes, sir. That saved. Oh, we're going in. A wretch like me. I was lost. That's how I spin on it. That's how we do it. But now I'm found, was blind, but now that you've given me your religion, your beliefs, now I see, okay, a wretch. So we see ourselves based on the doctrine of original sin, even as wretched, ugly, not worthy, not nothing, until an act of violence is ensued upon an innocent man. And God's vengeance and anger at us is now satisfied because somebody got killed as a sacrifice. Still, that thing is in us. You were born wretched. Your very nature was corrupt. And if you female, you're the reason the whole creation fell in the first place. Everything is your fault. That man blows up, it's your fault. If the children don't turn out right, even though they got a parent that's 50% theirs too, it's your fault. If the marriage doesn't work, it's your fault. If the house ain't clean, although it's 5 people in here, it's your fault. If the children don't know how to wash clothes, my daddy taught me how to wash clothes, not my mother. If the children don't, it's your fault. Because biblically, the woman is responsible for the man's fall. Make it make sense. You got all that godness? You sitting there watching with us, and I get to blame because you agree with me. It's everywhere. Your nature is corrupt. You got to be crushed. You got to be broken. You got to suffer before you can be received. Is suffering part of the human condition? Absolutely. Does oil come out of being crushed? Absolutely. Okay? A people the state had already counted as 3/5 of a human now receives a theology that counted them as nothing before white Jesus. The grasshopper now has been spiritually and religiously catechized into us. See? But the Hebrew witness does not begin the human at wretchedness. The creation account has a divine regarding the human being as being, God says it's very good. Listen, even with the propensity to go off on its own and choose something else, God said it's very good. Now, according to that narrative, even though there's consequences for making poor choices, watch how the choice is made. The choice is not made. I'm just seeing this. The choice is not made because we just hungry. It's stuff everywhere. The choice is made, as my bonus dad, Dr. John Kinney, from the School of Theology of Virginia Union, calls it snakeology. Snakeology. Our whole everything is built on the theology of a snake or a serpent. It is not until some other voice says, Did God really mean that? You all that? Well, if you all that, why you can't have this? Did God really mean that? It caused now them to doubt their greatness and their godness. The day you eat this, you won't be like God. Don't you eat from that one either. According to the text, they were already like God. But some other alternative voice is always trying to negate your goodness, your greatness, your graciousness, your giftedness, hence your godness. This starts with you're not enough, so you need more. You're not enough, so you need to go outside of yourself to choose things and to choose people outside of yourself. And if you choose to connect with this one, and if you choose to follow this one, and if you choose to act like me and you, people be taking their pictures with all these celebrities and all these preachers and stuff, and we be just hitting it. Ooh, look who they with. This says that you can't be nothing unless you ingest or connect to something outside of yourself. The greater sin was not, well, God told you not to eat it and you did. No, the day that you eat, remember now, won't nobody there. At the beginning, won't nobody there. All right. But the day that you eat it, something in you is going to die. Something in you is going to separate. Okay? See, something in you. And so this begins to, we begin to be convinced of it, that this is actually God's natural order. Whether we say it or not, whether we articulate it or not, it is the narrative is here. The narrative is all in the DNA. The narrative is everywhere. And then we now think that what they think is really what is. And then we start projecting onto people. We start thinking people have rejected us. They ain't thinking about us. We think people don't like us. They ain't thinking about us sometimes. We think, well, they just thinking they jealous of me. They ain't thinking about you like that. I mean, just the stuff that we attribute to other people when we do not know. Thank you, Dr. Florence Farley, my late mentor. You do not know people's motivation, but your brain tells you that you do because your brain is always trying to sanction that the narrative that's in there is right. It's actually surveying and looking for evidence to say that that narrative about yourself and about your people is right. It's actually looking for it. So if you're looking to be offended, you will be. If you're looking for people to reject you, you may actually be exuding something that will actually cause people to begin to respond to the energy that you're putting out that you're already rejected. So you could tell your brain, and your brain could tell you, see, I told you so. I told you they weren't going to stay. I told you they da 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 da. I told you they had a motive. Everybody got a motive. All right. Just make sure you know your own. All right. Then that thing begins to show up in the body. The grasshopper self does not live only in thought because of the threat. This kind of threat is stored somatically, or soma. The Greek is soma, in the body. Okay? It presents itself, here it is again, as hypervigilance. I'm always surveying, looking for the shoe to drop, looking for somebody to say something sideways, looking for the side eye, looking to be rejected, looking not to be included, looking for somebody to say my stuff is not good enough. We be looking for it. The nervous system is fixed in that threat scan. It's looking. It feels threatened. Reading judgment in faces that hold none. We do, preachers do it all the time. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And sometimes they're really not. Now, they don't do this to the men. They do this to me. We listening, Dr. Hannah. I'm like, who does that? We with you. We tracking. Like, who the hell do this in a bed? I'm like, where y'all at? Um, sometimes, the silence is deafening, but does it mean that they're not listening? No. It could be a collective processing. It could actually be a collective resistance. Because when we hear a truth, but everything in that program is against that truth, you got all this history against that one truth going in that person like this. And then there's that collective energy. Does that mean that they are rejecting? Not necessarily. Does that mean that they are resisting? They may be. It's natural. Does that mean they got an issue with you? Not necessarily. But we look for evidence that solidifies within us what we secretly believe that others believe about ourselves. It's projected. Okay? It's bred in, then it's projected. We think people, there's some people who think if you're getting mad with them, they'll start going to a 10 to get you before you get them. You're not, wasn't even going there. You're like, what the world? If they think you're really getting ready to leave, they'll create a scenario to piss you off so they can leave you before you leave them. Okay? Because they know within themselves, nobody in their right mind should really still be here. Okay, I've crossed the line, but they're going to project that you are getting ready to do it. So they'll do it for classic narcissism. They'll do it first. And you say, I won't go anywhere, at least not today. We do a lot of it. And the reason I keep going with this, because I want you to begin to look at, could I be doing this? Could I be ascribing to people motives that are not theirs? The human being do it all the time. We do it all the time. Stop saying you don't. You do too. You do too. That's a narrative that's got to be worked on. And usually that narrative puts us in the victim seat. See? Puts us in the victim seat. Or they just mad because so you don't know why they mad. Or they just did that because so and so and so. You don't know why they did that. I can't believe you said that to me. Okay, you're at a 10. This should have elicited a 3 to 4 range response. You respond at a 10 because there's already a program in there and you are neurologically wired. The brain is going to, the brain is going to try to protect itself from perceived threat because this is already in you and the person ain't even coming that way. If you react before you finish listening, you're not reacting to that person. You're reacting to a program that's already in you that says you're not enough. Okay? All right, let's do a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this finish next week. This is just too deep. All right? Now remember next month, I'm going to do the pathology of poverty. Okay? I don't even know what I'm going to do with it because I haven't seen it done quite yet. So I'll be digging and digging and digging. Okay? This thing, when it shows up in your body, you reading judgment on people's faces. You reading stuff into their comments or their lack of comments. Or look they gave you. You don't know if they just on one today. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Remember now, we're all not well. We're not well. Okay? It presents as the shallow, held breath. Sometimes we don't even know what we do. We'll do it. Oh, no, she didn't. See? It's that shallow, held breath. The chest that will not fully open. The shoulders that will not descend. The sleep that will not deepen, won't even let you sleep. The threat that was never safely discharged remains active in the tissues. I got this from Dr. Cindy Tripp, but God knows this is the truth. The issues are in your tissues. Your issues are in your tissues, not your not your tissues. All of our issues are in our tissues. Okay. So the threat that was never fully discharged remains active in the tissue, so the body braces for a blow that already came back here but has not come yet. You waiting for a blow that hasn't come. So you brace it. Okay? This is why the wound can't it's hard to just reason that away. You cannot argue a nervous system out of a conclusion is reached through years of repetition and conditioning. You have to give the body a different signal until the brain begins to update. Okay? Oh, yeah. I'm telling you, the Lord said it to me. The Lord said it to me, Dr. Parker. He says, my people are not well. And I started trying to reason with that. And I'm going, well, that's why I'm a psychologist. No, I'm not talking about people's individual conditions. I'm saying of people that has come out of 400 years, they not well. And the deeper they are ingrained many times in their religion, the more unwell they are. Because now they can't even think. Can't even think. They can't imagine. Okay. Right? It shows up in relationships. Watch this. The grasshopper syndrome. My time is almost up. Grasshoppers don't go for big because they scared they're going to miss it. Or they're scared everybody's going to fight them every step of the way. We have it hard. That may be true. But if any of us did it, then it's doable. And if it's promised to us, there's got to be a way for us strategically, collectively, to get what's due. Okay? The grasshopper cannot receive love easily because they're always thinking they're not enough and that they're projecting, they think I'm not good enough. Therefore, they're not going to give me the love that I'm worthy of. And if I'm not good enough, then I'm not worthy of love. I, I'm telling you, I get it a lot. When people say, "In the way in the world, this lady can love me like this for real." She not real. I mean, I actually had members say this to me when I was pastoring. And you too good to be true. You can't be real. You cannot be real. And so we go test you to see if you're real. I mean, I'm telling you, pastoring black people is different because it is the oppressed trying to lead the oppressed while we simultaneously try to heal. That's a little different than our church, our average church structure. Okay? We're going to test you to see if this thing is real. And while you're testing, everybody tests limits. But when the testing becomes unhealthy, so that the brain can prove to itself, I told you, too good to be true. Too good to be true. And this is when we start seeing that place in the middle where we're calling out to mature and that mindset of the oppressed to die and to die out and to get a transformation of mind. If you can't get that out of you, you will never pursue that. Okay? Okay. Praise gets deflected. All y'all who say I got a problem with compliments because it does not match the self-report in here. Closeness gets managed at a distance. So the closer you get, the more they are afraid that you're going to manipulate and control them and they won't be able to get out. So the closer you get, especially they're a little narcissistic, they love to hide and go seek, the chase and all of that. And then they're gone. Some of you have that pattern. The moment somebody gets close to you, you ghost them. Or you psychologically shut down. because you don't want them to see into you that you are not enough. So once they begin to get past your image, boom, you gone. Emotionally or otherwise. So closeness gets managed at a distance because being fully seen threatens to expose the insufficiency the person is certain that lives underneath. The grasshopper overfunctions, trying to, women, we really do this, trying to earn a belonging that never really was in doubt. And then it quietly resents the very people you perform for because it's never enough. So we're going to overperform. We're going to overperform to prove that we're enough and that we're of value. If you got to prove your value, I can see you maybe proving a little something on a job. That's why you have evaluations. I get that. Everything has evaluations. That's cool. But when this thing is not healthy, when it's not healthy, we're going to oversell, overdo, overgive, overfunction. Or I know something about that. We're going to overdo so that you're not left with not enough because we know what not enough feels like. Okay? All right? Thank you, Dr. Parker. Appreciate your transparency. We're going to overfund women. We really do it. And then we spoil them with too much. And when we spoil them with too much and they still do what they do, y'all know the line. After all I did for you, I can't believe it wasn't enough. I did all of that and it's still not enough. Is it ever enough? It's not going to ever be enough as long as the rubric you are using comes from the insufficiency of the narrative within and the images without that said this is what perfection looks like. Okay? Closeness gets managed at a distance. All right? We perform. We perform rather than move through processes of evolution and maturity. We perform like a product, always trying to fix the product. I mean, when you spend more time in the mirror than you do on self-care, Shondo, okay? Look how much money we spend on hair. Come on. How much money we spend on eyelashes. How much money we spend on nails. All of the things to look feminine. Look how much money we spend. I mean, the bras be spending them too. They be getting their units. How much money we spend on covering the gray. The bras be doing it too. Ain't no way in the world you 40, bruh. You 40 and your beard is jet black. Everything that we say is not enough. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. I mean, it's oozing out of everything. Okay? This guy named Kenneth Hardy, in his clinical work on racial trauma, draws a distinction that fits this very well. Anger is the immediate reaction to a violation, while rage is what accumulates over time when legitimate anger has no safe place to land or no safe place to find expression. The grasshopper has spent a lifetime swallowing legitimate anger because a self that is small does not believe it even has the right or the standing to even protest. My people don't even want to protest. Y'all look who was out there at the Black Lives Matter movement. You want me? Okay. All right. That swallowed anger doesn't disappear. It just builds and compounds. And finally, when it surfaces, it looks like disproportionate from the outside. You done blew your lid. While inside, it is the accrued weight of a life not good enough, seizing its first voice. Rage is the grasshopper, at last refusing to swallow. And then it's redirected to the wrong target, the wrong source. Okay? We'll look at I'll give you a couple little things. We'll look at this. Um, we'll look at this. Some and this is part of our Carol, for many women and many men. This is part of our resistance. It's part of our resistance. Plus, it's healthier for your hair. Man, my naps. I got straight off the boat hair. um, but for many of us, it's resistance. Some women are not doing hair at all. Some women are doing, a lot more women are doing natural hair. A lot of women are doing natural hair and then still put them in other kind of styles that still look the same. All this natural. Um, Sometimes no makeup. All of that. But a lot of times this is resistance. And as long as the resistance is healthy and you feel good about yourself, you're on your way. Um, I think um, I think we'll talk about how this not good enough hinders our spiritual ascension, our growth, our maturity, because this is the cost most people never count up. How this I'm not good enough. I don't care what I do. And it's a little different for us. Let me tell you why. Because also in your DNA is a sacred memory of the kings and queens that you come from. Also in your DNA is a sacred memory of a people who are responsible for all civilization. Somewhere, ladies, in your DNA, you know that all of humanity was birthed from between your legs out of your womb. Somewhere in your DNA, you know that all math and every ology, biology, sociology, psychology, anthropology, physiology, all of the ologies came out of our people. Somewhere in your DNA also exists sacred memory of a people being a collective, and that the God of creation is present in all things, all people, all nature, all species. That's also in your DNA. It's there. Needs to be activated. But that grasshopper, that now I'm not enough, and that's the way people gonna see me, and it's never gonna be good enough for them. So bump y'all. Okay, 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 okay. But the cost of this narrative, and it's in almost all people. It ain't just us. We just got it double and triple if you're a black woman. The cost of a narrative that doesn't fit the God of creation, we never look at what it cost us. Remember now, those 10 spies infected a whole generation of people. And because that mindset would first of all get them killed in Canaan. The mindset, you kill before you get there. The mindset, you're defeated before the war ever starts. Not your skill, the mindset, not your strategy. The mindset says you're defeated before you ever started, and this is why many of us never start. The mindset, the mentality. And so those people and everybody they infected had to be separated from the two who said, we are well able. It's in us. All we need is another mind that did not come from oppression. All we need is another mind. Two, we are well able. And this is the generation who goes into Canaan, dispossesses, was bigger, was badder, was builter than them. They go and they conquer a beach blonde, butch, built, bad body. They conquer it. They conquer it. People with that insecurity that are not enough may talk a whole generation out of their inheritance. We can no longer afford, my time is up. We can no longer afford to keep that narrative recircling the same terrain, unable to possess what our potential has promised, what our Maker has promised, and what that great cloud of witnesses, our ancestors, have struggled and bled and died for, and many times died without seeing it. They saw it before they could see it, and they died in the promise. Many of us right here at the precipice, and we cannot go in because collectively and individually, we are in our sight as grasshoppers. And that's how they see us too. We ain't even got no information from them. Okay? I want to talk about it some more. Some of the things you can do when you start feeling like that. I want you to do something real serious. Real simple. A couple of simple things that you can do to begin to interrupt. Because your brain is just going to naturally go there. This is like, you drive to work almost in your sleep. It's a neurological pathway there, just kind of automatic. It's routine. It's habitual. This thought is habitual. It's been there for years. So you have to interrupt your body. You have to interrupt neurologically what's going on. It's not going to just stop affirmations and stuff like that. That alone ain't going to get it. But something as simple as saying to your brain, when a person make you feel some kind of way, or you think, oh, they just did that because so and so and so, or they just blah, 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 blah. You remember, you don't know a person's motivation. Oftentimes, they don't know their own, just like we don't. Okay? But say to your brain, now, did that really happen like that? Could there be another reason that they acted that way? And then let your head say yes. If you say, no, I know I'm right, you, you're done. If you have to be right, because that brain is going to make you do things and project things so it can be right. But if you say to your brain, dear me, dear brain, could they have done that for another reason? Are you 1000% sure that that was directed at me, for me? Can you be assured without a shadow of a doubt, not even a reasonable doubt? And so you ever talk back to yourself like that, because then it kind of stops the brain from doing the natural thing. So where it would go like this, because you've been going, you know how we would have paths in the grass where we cut through the yard and make a path. It wouldn't be no grass in that path. Your brain do the same thing. You can stop that. You can you can interrupt that. Before, right in the middle of the path. Could there be? Or, once I did something, preached somewhere, and I didn't know I was being taped. I really didn't know I was being taped. And somebody saw that, and they put this comment up. It was one of my leaders put this comment up. And it was like, ooh, Hammond, They came for you. Ooh. And I said, well, I think it is directed towards me, but since it ain't got my name on it and they did not call my name, I will not just assume it was automatically for me. And if it was intended for me and they are too coward to speak to me and have a conversation, it's not worthy of me. Did that take the thing out my head that I wonder if they was throwing out? No, but it kept me from receiving something that didn't have my name on it. Another thing that you can do, I'm serious, just tell your brain, thank you for trying to protect me. I appreciate that. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But could it be, I'm telling you, could it be gonna save your life so many times? Could it be that they were just having a bad day? Could it be that this is not even my stuff? This ain't my stuff. I'm not gonna internalize that. I'm not gonna take that in. Not my stuff. Or is this my stuff? Or what part did I play in it? Did I play a part in this interaction? Because people who are not good enough and who are always the victim rarely see how they are playing a part in their own victimization. Sometimes they're really not the victim at all. Just not the victim at all. Sometimes wrong time, wrong place. Sometimes they got nothing to do with them at all. It's perceived. Okay? Something else that you could do, I'm serious. It sounds dumb. Before you get ready to pop off, or if you could hear yourself saying, don't make no difference what I do, just stop and breathe. And take that breath in and say, I'm bringing peace to myself. And I'm releasing any toxicity that may want to attach this to stuff that already happened, because they might not be related at all. A deep breath, about 3 or 4 of them, will begin to actually oxygenate the brain. It puts a pause there before you start defending yourself. And they're not even finished what they're saying. They won't even let you finish. And boom, they're all over you. Say, most people do it. This is the culture. But before you pop back and they haven't finished your statement, okay, while you're doing that, they're finishing. Even if what they're doing is toxic, you have the choice to eat that fruit or not. Because that's a contrary voice to the voice that created you and made you. You have the option in that moment. A few short breaths gives you the opportunity to make choices rather than to just viscerally, instinctively go in. A deep breath. A deep breath. A hum. Now I ain't talking about humming over top of the person. But as you're mulling over this, just start humming. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Why do you think many of the meditators, we see this across culture. They just call it different things. They hum, or the gurus go, It actually does something neurologically there. Just small things. But always take your brain, thank you. I appreciate you trying to protect me, but you're not doing a good job today. Just small things. We'll talk about it some more. We'll give you some more tools and techniques. But we never want to end without giving you a little something. I want you to go and think about where some of this came from. Some of you already think because we hit it tonight. Would your creator actually make something subpar? Give your life a purpose and an assignment and make you subpar so you could never do it. That's not a loving God. that's an oppressor. We're going to end on that tonight. Thank you again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all of you who are giving and supporting the platform. Please, again, subscribe to the channel, our YouTube channel, The Sacred Couch. I need you to help us build that because we need this stuff. God said, my desire is that my people become well. So we must be right at the precipice of something that can begin healing and mending even how we see ourselves on the inside. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. The system made a mess, but God made a miracle. Now we must struggle between the mess and the miracle so that what God has said to us will begin to manifest, and that what you're putting out and emitting is an energy and a frequency that draws not only opposition to you. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You're not a victim. Things are reacting to your growth. It's the law of physics. But you also have the goods. You came here with the goods. You came here with the goods. We need to see now. You begin to blossom. We need to behold, as they did Yeshua, your glory, full of grace and full of truth. This is the Sacred Couch. We'll see you next time. Well, beloved, my assignment here tonight is up, but our journey together shall continue. Thanks for sharing this special time and safe space with us here on the Sacred Couch. Remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your divinity is of God. It's perfect. It's our humanity that needs healing, repair, and restoration. This is a spiritual process. It takes time. It takes work. But I declare, becoming your authentic self is worth both the work and the wait. Until next time, beloved, continue reclaiming your narrative, recovering your authenticity, and realigning with the divine. I am Dr. S. Janine Hyman. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. We'll see you back here next week on the Sacred Couch.